So let's just jump right in. Have you ever gotten that feeling that something is, well, just a little bit off? Like your life, the choices you make, maybe even the arguments that play out inside your own head don't totally feel like they're yours.
Well, what we're digging into today suggests that no, you are not being paranoid. That feeling? It's described as being very, very real. It's almost like there's a program running in the background of your life, one that didn't just start with your smartphone, but one that has roots stretching back more than 100 years.
So that's the big question, right? Where did this all start? Why do things like outrage and even despair, why do they feel so normal now, almost addictive? Why do so many of us wake up with this kind of low-grade anxiety and then immediately start blaming ourselves for it? Well, the core argument here is that this feeling wasn't some random accident. It was engineered. And once you see the blueprint, it completely changes how you look at, well, everything. So let's go ahead and pull back that curtain. Our story actually kicks off not in some tech hub in Silicon Valley, but in an office in London, way back in 1921. It was here that a really influential group of thinkers started to see the human mind less as a soul to be understood, and more like a machine to be rewired. And this was the place, the Tavistock Institute. Now, the official story, the cover story really, was that they were helping soldiers heal from the horrors of war, what we'd call PTSD today. But their work supposedly uncovered something way more powerful. And this was their big aha moment. Trauma doesn't just break people, it softens them up. It makes them more pliable, more open to suggestion. The theory goes that you could use tools like grief, confusion, and fear to actually manage entire populations, not just one person at a time. I mean, once you figure out the lever that turns a calm crowd into a stampede, you don't really need speeches anymore, do you? You just pull the lever.
After World War II, you can bet these ideas didn't just stay in the lab. Nope, they spread. According to the source, you can trace Tavistock's influence right through the Cold War, the birth of mass advertising, and all the way up to the digital world we're all swimming in today.
So how in the world did these heavy academic theories break out of some secret lab and get into the public square? Well, they needed a salesman, someone who could take these ideas and apply them to the brand new world of mass media. And boy, did they find the perfect guy.
His name was Edward Bernays. And get this, he was Sigmund Freud's own nephew. But instead of analyzing people's dreams, Bernays analyzed their desires. He took his uncle's work on the unconscious mind and basically figured out how to turn it into cash, turning our inner worlds into one giant marketplace.
And the stuff this guy pulled off is just wild. He's the reason women started smoking in public. He literally branded cigarettes as feminist torches of freedom. He's the reason so many of us think of bacon and eggs as the classic American breakfast. Turns out it was just a PR campaign for the pork industry. He even managed to sell a coup in Guatemala as a noble fight against communism, all to protect the interests of a fruit company. He didn't just sell products, he weaponized desire. Okay, so if Bernays could sell products and even wars, what happens when those exact same techniques get applied to the news itself? Well, this next phase of the story takes us from public relations into the world of psychological operations. This brings us to something called Operation Mockingbird. The CIA allegedly figured out that the easiest way to control the story wasn't with threats, it was with headlines. This wasn't just about whispering ideas into a reporter's ear, it was about writing the stories for them. By the 1970s, it's reported that over 400 members of the American press were on the CIA's payroll. And while Mockingbird was busy shaping the public mind, MKUltra was aimed at breaking the individual mind. This was a real CIA program, using drugs, electroshock, you name it, with one terrifying goal: to completely erase a person's identity. Hang on to that phrase, erasing identity. It's a really key theme here. Now, when the files on these programs started to leak in the 70s, people were of course shocked, but the experiments, they didn't really stop. The tools just got an upgrade. The laboratory, which was once hidden away in secret government bunkers, is now sitting right in your pocket. So here's the crucial update. It's the same old game, just with a brand new playbook. Where they once used pills, now they use pixels. Old school propaganda has morphed into algorithms, and those newspaper headlines? They've been replaced by an endless waterfall of notifications. And the model they're using now is way more efficient. They don't have to give you a drug anymore. They can just use your own brain chemistry against you. Think of it this way. The pharmacy is now inside your head. And the algorithm? It's the pharmacist, carefully measuring out your dose in headlines, hashtags, and viral videos. And this is basically how it works. Every single swipe, every pause, every share,
is mapping your nervous system. The algorithm learns exactly what makes you angry, what spikes your stress chemicals, and then it just feeds you more of it, again and again, conditioning your reactions until the thoughts firing in your head feel urgent and real, but are they actually yours?
So what's the end game here? Why is everything online so angry? Because outrage is the cheapest, fastest, most effective way to get your attention. Anger glues your eyes to the screen. And according to this source, a population that is constantly distracted, exhausted, and at each other's throats, well, that's a population that can't really resist anything. The mental health crisis isn't just some unfortunate accident, it's the exhaust fumes from this entire machine.
Okay, so after all of that pretty heavy stuff, what can you actually do? Well, this last part isn't about fighting the machine head-on. It's really about remembering who you are without it.
It all starts with a kind of disidentification. Just remembering, you are not the anger that it feeds you. You are not the user profile it's built for you. And you are definitely not the sum of its predictions about what you're going to do next.
The path forward, then, isn't some huge, complicated strategy. It's really just an act of stopping. Stopping the chase, stopping the performance, stopping that endless, nagging need to be what the system wants you to be. The very second you stop reacting, you start to take your power back.
And that brings us to the final, and maybe the most important question of all. After all the noise from the notifications and the outrage cycles finally fades away, who's left? If your life has kind of been scripted and installed for you, what does the real you actually want? And that is the real journey. The source material ends on this note of hope, that underneath all of that programming, your real life, it's still there. It's quiet, it's patient, and it's just waiting for you to listen.